Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much for being our inaugural interviewee for our Meet the Entrepreneurs video series. My name is Mark Channer. I'm a political journalist at London Lives Business, and I'm delighted to welcome Charlie Mullins of Pimlico Plumbers. So, Charlie,
thanks very much, Mark, for having us on your new program, and very excited about it. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. So I'd like to start by asking, now we're in the second lockdown, do you think that was a good decision by the government?
I think it was a very bad decision, very, very bad. He said that he'd done it on the basis of the statistics and the data that came through, and now he's sort of doubting that data, that it's not as bad as it is. No, I think it was a big mistake the first time, the way they went about it, and to actually do it the second time, I think it's disastrous. They do it on the basis of saving jobs and saving businesses, but they're just losing businesses and losing jobs. It's just madness.
And what advice do you have for Boris Johnson?
Well, he needs to start listening to business people and, stop taking notice of people that are just supplying him data and, not really out there in the real world. Speak to any business and, there's a way of work. We need to work with the virus. We can't just keep stopping everything like we're doing.
Sure.
It's just crazy. It's not the way that we carry on. And, I can honestly say that, we've worked through the virus since I think it's back in sort of March now. And, we've done over 200,000 house calls and we've not had one issue with, somebody saying that, they've caught coronas. We've put all the precautions in place that are just pretty much common sense. And I don't see any business that can't do the same.
So what's the pandemic for you? You've been largely unaffected then?
Well, we've been affected in the basis that, I think 2/3 of our staff went onto this furlough business and took advantage of that, I have to be honest. The rest of the company, 1/3 of it, plus all the tradespeople, have carried on and worked through it, as I say, which I think is what most businesses should be able to do. Obviously the ones that the government won't let them do that. The entertainment business and the leisure business. That's very unfortunate. And to shut restaurants and bars down, I just don't think it's right. I go back to saying that, what's the point of shutting a bar down at 10 o'clock? All people are doing are coming out a few hours earlier. So nothing's changed other than the inconvenience, and it's playing with people's livelihoods.
You wrote an interesting article for us back in June on the furlough. Now, if you were the Mayor of London, what would you have done differently?
What would I have done different? I would have made it so generous. It was too generous, giving people 80% to sit home and do nothing. Some of them were better off than going to work because of the travel and the time. So it was just too generous. And I would have actually, they've given people in businesses, well, more so the employers, an incentive to stay at home. And what I would have done is given them an incentive to come to work.
So you were speaking to Sky News back in August over the exam results, and you were saying at the time that too much importance has been placed on exam results. Do you think it's now time that the government should invest heavily into kickstarting apprenticeships, which could actually help thousands of students, the economy and SMEs?
Yeah, look, undoubtedly, I've been really, talking to the government, probably for the last 12 years about that. And I think we're starting to get through with Cameron and Osborne when they was there. And I think, apprenticeships are starting to happen and form more. And, most people without some common sense now know that, an apprenticeship is as good as any, graduate or degree that they're going to get. The difference, I think, with an apprenticeship is, you're earning what you're learning, and there's work out there for you. And I think the unfortunate thing is a lot of these degrees, the work's not there. And I think a lot of it is just pointless. And, we have a massive skill shortage out there, and we're not sort of maximising on that. We're still training people for jobs that they're never going to get. And it's just the wrong way to do it, yeah.
You've been a keen supporter of the Conservative Party. What's your thoughts on the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, and do you think he's doing a good job?
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a difficult one, but look, I'm probably going to say he's not doing a bad job. I'm not going to say he's doing a good job. I don't think he's doing a bad job because, you know, it's unknown territory where we've been going into. And I think that he's done too much people pleasing. You know, I mean, he's giving money away. You're going to make people happy, but that's not the answer. You know, it's not the answer. So, you know, it's great to help people out that are vulnerable and elderly, and maybe, you know, their industry is not in work, but to give people that are capable of going to work and giving them money to sit at home, it's the wrong way. It's sending out the wrong messages to business and to people. And, you know, he's redone it again now, and he's saying the furlough's got to go on to March. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, we've got a vaccine so close, and he's just leading people down a false road. And it's like anything. If you give someone something, then take it away, they don't like it. So why give it them in the first place?
What's your thoughts on the Mayor of London, Steve Khan, and how he's handling the pandemic?
You know, he's created, again, so much job loss, cost, you know, Londoners so much money. It's just a waste of time. You know, I mean, I'd give him one word of advice, and it's called resign.
Sure. So back in January 2018, you mentioned that you were thinking of running for the Mayor of London. Would you still run for the Mayor of London in the current climate now?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's an ideal time, but there never is an ideal time. But I have to be honest, you know, I don't think there's many people in the running that have got much business brain or common sense. Certainly Khan hasn't. And I think it needs someone that's a proper Londoner, someone that lives in London, works in London, been brought up in London, and understands London. And you know, we have to work with Londoners. I just feel that, you know, he's divided London up so much, you know, with the cyclists and the motorists, and you know, this sort of people in this from this sort of country are in here and that, and we can't work like that. You know, we've all got to amalgamate and make the best of it. And I just don't think he's the type to bring people together and to get the best out of people. I think he's you know, destroyed so many people in London with congestions and shutting roads, and you know, encouraging businesses to close when we should be encouraging businesses to open.
So we've got Sean Bailey. He's been elected as the Tory candidate for the Mayor of London. And given COVID, you know, we were unable to have the elections this year for London Mayor. That's going to commence on the 6th of May next year. What's your thoughts on Sean Bailey? Is he the man for the job? Does he have the skills?
No, you know, I've been listening to him, and if I'm being honest, he's using stuff that I've been using for the last few years. You know, give like free transport to apprentices, and various other things about getting youngsters into work. It's just stuff that I've used for the last few years. I don't feel that Sean has come up with anything new. I don't think that. I just don't think he's got the knowledge and experience of what it takes to, you know, to get things moving in London, to get people into work. Most important thing in London is to get youngsters into work. And I think if you do that, it resolves so many other problems. It resolves a lot of the crime and the rehabilitation and you know, the damage that it causes. It gives people a purpose in life. And, you know, I think that's what we've got to work on from school level. Obviously, there's many other things, you know, working with NHS and making sure that they, you know, don't pay congestion, don't have to pay congestion, and it encourages people to work in London and want to be there. And unfortunately, I think it's just driving people out of London. Sure.
So, therefore, would you consider still running for mayor sometime in the future?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly now. I mean, the fact that it got delayed, you know, I decided that I wasn't because of the Brexit business. You know, I think it's going to make the job extra harder. But, you know, who's to say what's going to happen? I'm not convinced now that we're going to leave in January. All the other people keep saying we are, and, you know, but why would we want to take on that battle of Brexit in January when we've already got this battle with the virus? It's just crazy. So, I believe that's going to be delayed again. And I think that there's a lot of work to do, but it's most important. I believe that we've got to get people back into work and get offices and business going. And I don't think I have many strong points, but one thing I do have is good work ethics, and I know how much it changes somebody to be part of society by getting into the workplace. And I believe that's what we need to concentrate on.
So the UK transition period ends on the 31st of December for Brexit. Do you think that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, should actually be extending that transition period for another year as a result of COVID?
Well, yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, why would you take on two battles when we can't avoid the pandemic, but we can avoid the Brexit at this stage? I'm not saying don't leave. If that's what they've come up with and they believe it's the right move, then let's go for it and let's all do our best. But why take on two battles when you can delay one? Let's get the big fight out of the way and let's start again on Brexit. But to have all that sort of disruption and job losses again and the economy is going to suffer. Why do we need that when we've already got a massive battle on our hands? So, yeah, undoubtedly, common sense needs to be coming in and put a delay on it.
I'd like to ask you a burning question that I'm sure many small business owners and budding entrepreneurs will be asking. What advice would you give to help them succeed through the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to think about it. I think we're looking in too much into the pandemic. We need to work through it. I mean, any business now that's worked through it, and new businesses that work away that, don't try and hide and avoid from it. Let's get out there. Let's get to work. Let's get people back into work and start, selling their products and being the great country we can be. So that's what I would say. Just get on with the job and work through it or around the pandemic. Don't let that dictate your business. You need to, businesses that have worked through the pandemic, I believe, are a lot stronger now, and more people are going to use them and are getting busier because, they know how to operate. They've geared themselves up. And I say, if you're a new business or got a business, fairly up and running, just work away that you can work through the virus and not keep avoiding it, because so many people are avoiding it, and their businesses are going to go down the pan. I mean, excuse the plug, but you've also got I think a situation where I don't think a lot of these people realise that working up from home, which according to them is great and more productive, which they would say, I don't believe it will be long term. Of course, it is for some people, but we've got to get back into the workplace. We've got to be, we didn't build a great country by working from home. We built a great country by getting out there and working. And any new business, just get on with it and don't avoid the situation. Just go out there full on and make it happen.
Well, I guess it's difficult for them to make it happen with, we're now in a second lockdown. We've got the vaccine potentially coming out at the end of the year, which will be rolled out probably next year. We could end up going into a third lockdown. Who knows? Yeah,
look, you could be right. But I'm saying is, to be a successful businessman, you've got to make decisions. You've got to put your head above the parapet wall. You've got to be brave enough to get on with things. And, I believe that if businesses are prepared to stand up for themselves, we need to get the government to back down. They're ruining people's livelihood. They're ruining people's businesses. They're ruining the economy. They're ruining people's mental health. They're ruining people that have got health problems. They can't go and get to their appointments. The government are killing more people than the pandemic is. They really are. And if you're a good businessman, then we can't be dictated and controlled by busybodies that don't know anything about business. I sound annoyed, and I'm probably not annoyed. I'm just saying is that any good businessman needs to put his head above the parapet wall. And if we don't think it's right, we need to tell them that. This last lockdown is so unnecessary, and I still think you backpedal, Johnson, and change it. But now, I have to say, it's now coming up with you know, he doesn't believe, you know, was it Pfeiffer's and who's come up with the epidemic, and he's not sure it'll happen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking rubbish. You know, they're a top research company. They've been going for years. They know their stuff. They've brought many other things out, and we're so close to getting it. And he's starting to say, "Oh yeah, you can't take no notice of that," you know, and it'd be the biggest mistake we've made if we reverse it. No, the biggest mistake we've made is bringing in the second lockdown, and you know, that vaccine ain't far away now, and you know, we've got to now start saying to all businesses, let's start getting back to work. Forget this March nonsense about furlough, and you know, let's start building the economy again.
Charlie Mullins, founder and owner of Pimlico Plumbers, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. I'm sure our audience will absolutely appreciate your candidness as ever, and thank you very much, sir.